All right. Hey, class. So here we are, Ready 101 Tech Tip, Unit 1.3. What I'm going to talk to you about today are keyboard shortcuts. Keyboard shortcuts are amazing, they save you time. One of the most common things that we all hear back from our students after they go out and they land jobs and they move out and they do other future things is that they're always amazed at how fast their jobs and their bosses expect them to work. And most of us, much of our days are going to be spent behind computers. And so efficiency and speed is going to be your friend. So, what I want to do right now is show you some formatting shortcuts. There are a lot of keyboard shortcuts. To be honest, I only use about 10 or 12 on a regular basis, but I encourage you to do the same. Find the 10 or 12 that will work for you and start using them. So here we go. I have a sample document over here. And in the sample document, I have a bunch of these are kind of the basic ones that I use on a regular basis. So I copied and pasted some filler text into this. And as you can see, it's a little wonky. So the first one I'm going to use is I'm going to show you clear formatting. So we want this to all be formatted in a consistent way. And so if I highlight this and I do Control Spacebar, it will take it back where there's no formatting. So let's say I've got this italics and bold and all sorts of crazy stuff up here. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's a little ugly. Control Spacebar, it all goes away. So if you have, let's say you've got orange text and you're like, oh, maybe not, it goes away. So Control Spacebar for clearing formatting, very handy. So while we're at it, let's just go through and do the rest of this and get it all to the same format. When I say format, meaning it will have the same font, the same size with no extra fluff to it. All right, so that's clear formatting. Now, these are ones that you will be using at various times. If let's say I want this stuff bold, I can do this and I can go up here and click that. Not that slow, but at the same time, I can just go bold. Oh, I want it underlined. Control U, Control I, Control B, Control italics. As you see here, you can go through and make something bold really fast. But then let's say you don't like that or you don't want it, Control Space Bar. Once again, it goes away. Many of you probably know the copy, paste, cut. So let's say for editing and revision, this can be extremely helpful. Like, this section of my paper, I'm just not sure. So I'm gonna cut it out of there and I'm gonna take it down here and I'm just gonna put it down here at the end. Maybe I'll want it later. I don't know. But then you're looking at it and you're like, I don't know if I do want that. So you can take it, cut it out. And you're like, oh, actually, I do want that. So here you can see Control Z is undo or redo. So let's say you're moving through here and you accidentally you delete it all and you're like, oh no. Control Z brings it back. And if you continue to hit Control Z, it'll go through your previous actions. Control Y will redo. So you can Control Y and redo those actions. So Control Z and Control Y, very useful. I use those constantly. The other ones that can be pretty useful here. Let's talk about Control P. If you're hooking up to a printer and you need to print something, Control P will bring up your print window right away. A lot of folks know that one. That one's probably not much of a surprise. And now let's get to the two fancy ones. Control F and Control K. Control K is really nice. Now you see this? This is what is referred to as a URL. URLs are long, they're ugly. If you look up here at this Google Doc, it has this really long URL. I'm going to copy that. Now let's say I said, I'm going to say, check out this document. And when I get to checking out this document, if I go through and I put at the end of this big URL, it doesn't look very good. So I'm going to Control Z because I don't want that and say, hey, check out this document. And I make this a hyperlink. Now, this works across your email platforms and across your various text editing platforms. Control K will pull up the opportunity for you, and then Control V, because I copy and pasted that right in there. And boom, I have an actual hyperlink. So as I talked in our last unit in your emails, when you're sending an email, don't send big, long URLs. Make a hyperlink. You can literally do it in 2 seconds with your keyboard shortcuts. All right, this one's very useful. You'll be using this in your research papers, Control F. So I'm going to go to the course schedule, and let's say you've determined that you would like to take Conrad Science Fiction class, which I'm teaching. You go Control F. It's going to show up over here. I need to move this. In any document and or any web browser, this little box will show up. And then you type in my last name, and you can then just enter. If you hit enter, you can click through. These are courses that my wife is teaching. And then here you get to M. Rauscher, which is my name. My first name is actually Michael. I go by my middle name, have my whole adult life. And you can see the courses, and you can just keep clicking through. You can also do this in research papers. You can do it in PDFs. And so you can do keyword searches. Control F is super useful. I also will oftentimes use Control F if, let's say, I need to look in the factory directory and I need to find someone's name. I can take that feature, which this staff directory, this search box bar on many pages doesn't work all that well. So I can do a Control F. Again, I'll do Rauscher and click through, and there I am, Conrad Rauscher. So Control F, crazy useful. The last one that I want to talk to you about is other keyboard shortcuts. So this is a pretty small list. In fact, a very, very simple list. I'll be posting this more extensive list in our course content, but in any platform that you happen to be operating in, whether it's Mac, PC, or Chrome, typically this function will work. If you do Control question mark, it'll pull up all of the various keyboard shortcuts. So there's navigation, there's comments, editing, objects, paragraph, text formatting, tons of them. Like I said, you don't need to know them all. Find the ones that are going to be useful for you. Find the ones that are going to save you time and start using them on a daily basis.